money, any cash in my pocket. Which basically means not a credit card, not a payment app that you can pay other people that you know, but actually cash. Like, you want to give something to a bellboy, you want to buy something at a farmer's market that doesn't take credit cards, you know, you want to go to a festival, you know, a rock festival, a beer festival, whatever it is. There's still a lot of places that actually people still pay cash. You want to travel abroad where cash is 80% of what people, the normal people use. Cash, in fact, is still $8.1 trillion of cash is being exchanged every year. 8.1 trillion. So that means it's still, you know, cash means something to people, but in a certain level of society, and definitely in some technologically focused society like ours, people are carrying less and less and less and less cash. And so, you know, I was in Sao Paulo where Pedro was working for TOA. So Pedro was hired for TOA in Europe. He's from Portugal, and we asked him to go down. We had, from day one, Irad and I wanted to expand the company into Latin America. From day one, that was like our first customer was in Spain, in Europe, because we thought, oh, Spain is going to be a big bridge to Latin America for us. So we had, like, the vision was there from day one of like, global, how do we do it? We're going to go here, then we're going to jump to Latin America. Latin America's there because it's still a fertile place where technology hasn't, you know, taken root. We can jump over a whole generation of technology. So we hired Pedro, and Pedro speaks Spanish and Portuguese, and of course great English. And we thought, you know, he's going to be a great emissary for us in Latin America. And in fact, he was. Helped us grow the company from 0% of our revenue and coming from Latin America to 40% of our revenue in the course of 4 years.
Well done.
Helped us a lot. And I was down there, and we were walking through a park in Sao Paulo. I told him, nobody solved the problem of cash. Square Cash hasn't done it. Venmo hasn't done it. I had the both on me, and, you know, showed him how it worked. It's a virtual check, not a virtual cash. So why don't, you know, and this was, TOA was still, I was still CEO of TOA. It was just running in my mind. And then 2 months later, you know, Oracle called us. I mean, you don't sell a company, you get acquired. And we, you know, out of the blue, the EVP of corporate development of Oracle called us and said, you know, can you come to Redwood City? And there's so many stories. I could spend a whole afternoon, you know, morning and afternoon telling you the stories, and they're all amazing. There's never a dull moment when you're in a startup, never. All the way to the last night when we were the last night of selling the company, when we were waiting to sign when the deal was about to close, not the definitive. Even during the definitive, we had stories galore. But the reality is, we were walking through this park, and I told Pedro the idea. We need to. I really, if I get a second chance at this, then I want to try and solve the problem of cash. Small, you know, ambition. And you know, and he said, "Oh, that sounds interesting." And then, you know, 2 months later, TOA was sold, and in line with our philosophy and the culture of the company, we spent 2 years not kicking back at Oracle at all. We were traveling the world, advocating for the product, talking to our customers, our old customers, making sure that they had a smooth transition into the company. That Oracle did not. We were grateful that Oracle bought us. We weren't like, I mean, we have thought that Oracle was going to buy us from day one, by the way. And when they came, you know, it's a classic. When they made the phone call, it was like, what took you so long? But the reality was, we wanted to make sure that our employees did well at Oracle. Everything we did, and that our customers did well. And so I spent 2 years at Oracle working, which everybody was shocked. So there's another thing about, you ask me why, how, what. It's about work. And work is something phenomenal. It's a way of us expressing ourselves, of realizing our potential, you know, of doing something unique in the world. And there's I don't look for work-life balance. It doesn't interest me. I look for life. And work is a significant part of life. And how we express ourselves in the world is work. We can have families and great families, and I'm, you know, a big proponent, but I think first and foremost, there's the individual, and you have to be happy in doing what you're happy doing, and that's at work. So, you know, when we went into Oracle, we said, we're going to make the most of this. So we were going to work. You know, people were shocked that we were working. They were like, why aren't you just hanging out and letting Oracle do the work? And we're like, no, we want to make sure that our employees and our customers are happy and that our beautiful product that we built, that we loved so much, Irad is still there, taking care of the product. Because it was our baby. We looked at it like it was our child. The company, the product, the people, the customers, we looked at it as an extended family, and it was our children. And when you look at it that way, it answers all your questions.
And it's a responsibility to your current employees, to your customers,
right,
to your investors, your owners, to continue to deliver and build great products that solve their problems.
And you have to, and they have to know that that's the case. So Mezu really started from that little core idea of solving the problem of people who don't have cash in their pockets. How do they give money to people they don't know? And you know, I raised that problem with Irad, and Irad said, "I'm happy at Oracle."
So
and I had already told Pedro about that problem, and Pedro, of course, is an example of of TOA's great success, because it wasn't about me and Irad, it was about Pedro's success. And so, he and I built a very strong friendship, because I used to go down there a lot to help sell at the beginning when you don't have, he was the only salesperson there. He was a salesperson. It was a salesperson and him. He's kind of a renaissance guy. He's got like all the traits. He's got the ability to actually write software as well as to, talk business and everything in the middle, and was a great sales guy. And so, we really built a friendship around, again, it was the same thing about talking about ideas, not about the thing. And very similar to the way that I built the partnership with Iran. And so and he had come from Siebel to TOA, Siebel Oracle. So he didn't want to go back to Oracle. So he went back, took care of his employees, and left. And that moment we started talking about starting a new company and saying, let's solve the problem of people carrying cash in the world. And that could be a very big problem, that as people carry less and less cash, it's not about cryptocurrencies. We're not naive. And it's not about, other payment apps. We're not naive. There's a lot of activity in the market. But that's because, but we believe that we're bringing something unique to market, which is an app that protects people's privacy. So this idea evolved, right? And you asked the same thing about, about TOA. TOA had the idea of predicting when an appointment would happen from day one. But we turned into building a full end-to-end system for managing the mobile employees and building predictive, on top of predictive analytics and artificial intelligence. So we never stopped learning and never thought we had the answer. We're constantly trying to figure out what was going on out there, just the way he and I are doing right now, which is to say, nobody's cracked this nut. There is no Google of payments yet. Once a Google arrives and starts, making noise, that's whether we're going to be Mezu, then we'll know. Because when Google showed up in 2000, Iran and I saw them move into an office building, into our office in New York. It was a shared office space. They put up their first, and we were like, what's Google doing in New York? And we asked them, what do you do? And they said, this is 2000, mind you. They said, we're salespeople. Google was a search engine. And we're like, what do they have salespeople for? Remember that? We're like, why does Google have salespeople? Well, they had a vision. And, once a Google shows up in the payment space, and like I said, Pedro's my ambition is the Google of payments will be Mezu. And, right now it sounds like a crazy idea, because we're just, the two of us and you, and 27 other people who already work for us. But I think that passion to do something crazy, unique, big, has to be the driver. And our goal, so what happened is, and just close on that, is that the minute we realized we wanted to help people exchange money between people who don't know each other, without actually having to exchange any contact details, any private information, all of you have to download Mezu, by the way. I don't care if you're using Venmo. Is anybody here from Cleveland?
Everybody here.
Everybody here from Cleveland? I want to see hands. Who's from Cleveland? Who lives in Cleveland, works in Cleveland, loves in Cleveland? Okay, well, you all have to download Mezu today and delete Venmo, please. because I'm not kidding. Because we cannot be talking about wanting to build technology in this city without being first adopters of the technology that's being built here. Do we all understand each other? I want to hear.
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, we do.
We have to actually support each other as entrepreneurs. And Mezu is bringing something to market that everyone can use. You don't have to be, you don't have to have anything but a little bit of desire to spend some cash. or to have some cash in your. And so we built an incredible solution that's a holistic solution for managing, your financial life in a sense. Because it's not just about sending money to people you know. And it's not just about giving money to people that you don't know through a very sophisticated code system that's very easy to use. This is about the user experience. It's also about being able to pay for stuff, to donate, to use. So I highly recommend and request that you all download and become Mezu users.
Play Store and App Stores. It's out there now.
In both.
Download it.
And my reason, and my reason for that is not just because I want Mezu to be successful. I don't need more money myself, actually. Do you all understand that? I don't need more money. I want to help this place become more successful. That's because this place has been successful and good to me. So I started Mezu here, and I want Mezu to grow here. I mean, I said we want to build a building in Ohio City where we're at, have our headquarters there, but we can't do it alone. Because this time, it's not just about us, it's about all of you. All the people who are here can help Mezu be successful. And you know what happens when Mezu is successful? Everyone will hear about Cleveland's technology businesses, not just mine. So help us, help you, help us. I'm not kidding. This is a joint journey. And we have an application that each one of you can download. And by the way, when you download it today, we'll give you $5 free that you can use however you want. And we really ask you to use it by giving to somebody else that doesn't have Mezu. You believe it or not, you know how a human life starts from two cells coming together? Same with companies. They start with a group of avid, dedicated, passionate users. And those users, every single sale that Toa made was based on a reference from a passionate customer. So please be passionate customers of Mezu because you're actually passionate customers of Cleveland. And this is what it's all about. We want to support ourselves and our community.
So, and then with another big exit success called Mezu, we no longer need to cling to the success of only the Cavs.
Right.
Or maybe the Indians to hold our heads high.
And it's funny, but you're saying that because I was interviewed last week by an reporter from Channel 8, was it? The one... No, the second one. Channel 5. And she asked me, so, what do you want to people to say about Mezu? And I said, I want people to say we're the LeBron of technology for Cleveland.
And that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So we're running up on time, and you're making me a liar because we're running out of time for questions.
But we should give people one.
Can we take a few questions real quickly?
Download Mezu.
What does Mezu mean? And how did you arrive at that name for your startup?
Great question. Well, like everything else, we analyzed it. On one hand, I'm the stream of consciousness kind of guy, and I believe in the sort of the spirit. I let it go. But I'm also a very analytical person in some strange way. And Pedro and I sat down and analyzed all the great, names out there. And we decided that we want to have a four-letter name that has 2 syllables. I'm not kidding. And that would be easy to say in the mouth. That would have an international component, which means it means nothing and everything. So everywhere you go, people can say Mezu, and they can figure out what it means, or they don't. They just like the sound. A little purple, a little blue, a little turquoise, a little orange, the colors of Mezu. And we deliberated for 6 bloody months. Oh my, I can't tell you how many main things we went through and how many, little engines on the internet that we pressed that produce names, those? You put in like the letters you want or the concept, cash. And you press a number, and it starts spitting out, combinations of names. And then one day, I we were in Manhattan, and and I said to Pedro, the word for cash in Hebrew is mezuman. Why don't we just call it Mezu? It's like a short kind of, it has a kind of a nice ring to it. And we looked up Mezu and we said, well, we got to have the .com. And we looked up the thing, and the .com was actually for sale by some guy, some auction site. And so we started trying to get the auction. We started bidding up on the Mezu name. I won't tell you what we paid for it. But and we started researching. Why was there still a 4-letter word that had a .com that was for sale? Because there aren't any. It turned out that this guy had held this domain since 1997. And it kind of went dormant. And people were bidding, but not a lot. And so we said, well, whatever their bid, let's throw out a bid. And we threw out a bid. There was no response. The guy was like dead. And then we threw out another bid, no response. And I said, Pedro, let's triple our bid. That'll be a shocker. And what happens? Next morning he calls me up. He's like, we got it. We got it. And so we have that was the story of Mezu. It's a combination of kind of, and then we realized that the name Mezu is me to you, and you to me, which we wrote. We have a bigger vision of what we want to do with the application. Of course, it's about the underserved, and the underbanked, and helping communities around the world, and taking from the rich and giving to the poor. I mean, there's a lot of ideas behind Mezu, but a lot of them had to do with me to you and you to me, with easy in the middle. That's why Mezu.
One more quick question.
So Yuval,
Yeah.
as the CEO of a brand new company, starting from scratch, operationally and logistically speaking, what does day one look like for you today?
Well, in this particular case, we're because we're in the payments world. For us, day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, we're all about understanding deeply where we were at. And not running to hire people, which we kind of did a little bit at the beginning, but first is really understanding the payments world. And as you can imagine, it's incredibly, why do we only have like 4 applications out there in the United States? That's PayPal, Venmo, Square Cash, Zelle, and that's pretty much it. Circle, maybe. And why do we have that? Because it's a really high bar to actually jump over. You need to understand the regulatory and compliance environment. You need to be working within the banking system. It's a very complicated business to actually, get into. So for us, the first operational days was, number one, designing our software, making sure that when we are in the position to go to market, that we can. And that's very complicated, the infrastructure, very complicated partnerships. But really having the ability to work in that space and having the foundations to work in that space. And then immediately looking for great people. I mean, because I'd say half the conversation here is about people, as you kind of understood from all the allusions that I'm making, that ultimately it's about the people you surround yourself with. So we immediately started looking for great people. And so I would say there's those 3 things, understand deeply with the industry that you're going after. Focus deeply on the product that you're developing and making sure that, you're in a position to go to market. And lastly, start hiring fast and good.
We need to wrap. We could keep going, but we need to wrap and let everybody get on to the next session. Yuval, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.
Interesting conversation.
Thank you. Download Mezu. Love Cleveland. Cleveland's hometown money app.
If you need help downloading, I will help you. Amy is here to help you.